Our next speaker is already here, Professor Clarissa. I'm going to introduce you. Professor Clarissa Oliveira is a PhD. She is currently a full professor at Federal Rural University of Rio de Janeiro. Her major is in chemistry, and she has a PhD in physical chemistry from University of Rio de Janeiro. I'm sorry. And she's also vice president of FAPUR. Thank you very much for accepting this invitation, Professor Clarissa. And the word is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patricia. And it's, first of all, I have to thank the organizing committee of VII ISVS for this opportunity, this kind invitation to talk about our foundation, FAPUR. And this presentation that I will start, you see, it's a challenge for me because it's the first time that I speak in English about this particular subject that I'm now dedicated to. So let's see what we can do. And I would like that every doubt that I can raise, you feel comfortable enough to ask for at the correct time, okay? Good afternoon for all people who are listening to us, and let's talk about FAPUR. Let me share my screen with all of you. Let me see, I believe this. Please let me know if you can, all of you can see my slides.
Yes, we can see your
okay.
Yes, we can see your screen. Thank you.
Okay, my screen. Perfect. Thank you, Pat. This presentation is entitled The Role of Foundations for Advances in Scientific Research. And as was already told, I'm Clarissa, I'm a physical chemist, professor at Rural University and a member of the director board of FAPUR. Support foundations. What are they? First of all, the first important information is that they are private companies of the third sector. It means that they are private, non-profit companies. They were created by Law 89/58 in 1994. And the initial statement of this law, what can see here, establishes clearly that it's about the relationship between federal institutions and of education and research and support foundations. They were created particularly exclusively to manage educational research or extension projects. But why they were created and how they do that, why they are useful in this context? Why support foundations? I suppose that you know that public institutions like federal universities have very strict rules for spending public resources to buy goods, equipment, to hire services, to do all this kind of operations that are needed to perform any project. But in particular, there is, in fact, this is the main problem. And I'm sure that every person in this room has already heard about Law 8666 because it has very small limits for direct buying. They are 33,000 reais for constructions and 17,600 reais for goods or equipments. If in your project you need to spend higher values, we will have to perform a bidding. What's the bidding? Here I can show you 5 different types of bidding. Okay, and they are needed because public money must be spent with a lot of responsibility and must be completely trackable. We have to know at each step how much and for what we have spent the money. And this law gives all the directions to perform all these steps in a safe way. But all public institutions are obliged to follow this law. There is no choice. And what about support foundations? I started this presentation explaining that we are private companies. Then how to ease this procedure, but also keeping the money trackable? Let's start by the last part of this question. Here are some characteristics of the foundations, the support foundations. Our accountability is annually audited by an external professional and supervised by the public ministry. Our accountability is annually submitted to the approval of the University Superior Board. MEC must allow the foundation to support the university. The approval must be requested each 5 years, and lots of documents are needed. If you want to follow what's needed, the kind of document that you should present to ask for this kind of approval, here I show you the internet address. We are submitted to this decree 7423. In this decree, we can find stepwise instructions to write not only the project, but mainly the work plan. And it has to bring work information about the team, the scholarships, who approves in the university your project and your work plan, items to be acquired in your project, how much will be spent on each item. There is a lot of details that you have to furnish by law in these documents. And also, but equally important, roles from the university to its support foundation. It's called Resolução Normativa, and ours of number 46 from 2011. It's an official document where the university establishes what its support foundation is allowed to do. And we can do only what is present in that document. Now, this document is under review, and we are preparing what we believe is a better one. We will give more freedom, and we will be able to do more. We are able to manage better our projects. The first part of this question was, I tried in general roles to explain you how money can be trackable. And now I'd like to explain how we support foundations become the procedure easy of managing projects and any kind of what I can say, how I can say, what kind of financial necessity of the project. Here, we are submitted to this decree, the decree 8241. We are not submitted to this decree 86, to this law, in fact, 8666, because we are not public, but we are private. So, Once we are submitted to Decree 80T41, the heart of this decree is about the limits for direct buying. Here, if in your project you have to buy something that it's below this limit, we do not need to perform any bidding anyway. You can perform direct buying. So the limits are higher in this decree for us. And they are for constructions, 100,000 reais, and for individual goods or equipments, 40,000 reais. It speeds up the whole process because here bidding is slow as it has to be, because we need to follow very closely each expense. Here we do this in a different way, exactly because the documents that are needed due to our private nature. And what I should do to have a project at FAPUR? Perhaps it's a natural question. First of all, we have to write the project of your academic interest. So you find a financial sponsor, a private or public company, or even the general public, if your activity may be offered as a service. You should write in details the financial aspects of your project. And here, now I must say, yes, we offer you a template and directions and help to fill it up. You have to approve it, your project and your work plan at your department board, at your institute board, and at your area board. After these approvals, a draft of your contract is prepared and sent to the university attorney for approval or recommendations. If it's not approved, a lot of recommendations will be done, and we will introduce these recommendations in the next version of a contract, and it's ready to be signed. And we sign the contract and your team start the work. Here, it's important to pay attention that these activities gives to you, to your group, financial autonomy. And it's very important ever and ever, but I believe that nowadays it's more important than ever. And how does FAPUR manage the project? What does it mean? My freedom will be anyway affected by this kind of relationship with a sport foundation, how the things are happening. After the signing of the contract, FAPUR opens an individual account bank exclusively to deal with the financial resources of the project. But pay attention, you are not the holder of this account bank. FAPUR is the holder. It's in our name. Because of this, we have some initial meetings to show you how you present us any request to buy goods or equipment, to hire services, to ask for scholarship payments. We present you the forms and all information needed, all information that you will need to fill it up and have your request properly presented to us. Internally, your requests are processed as fast as we can. And as I don't like to raise false expectations, we have to say that, of course, we are never as fast as yourself buying by yourself. But, of course, we are faster than public institutions. Something in the middle of the way. all vouchers and payment receipts are archived physically and virtually. You have a copy of everything. Once your contract is finished, your project ends up, FAPU sends to all partners the closed accountability together with a copy of the usage of the respective account bank during all periods. It's important to remember, it's important to say that the final technical report, however, is your responsibility. It's the responsibility of the researcher and his or her team. We like to say that backstage work is ours. And exactly because we share the work in the technical part and the bureaucratic part, and the support foundation takes part of this bureaucratic part, it leaves you and your team more time to dedicate to the research activities. So this is important also to pay attention to. Now, some numbers, because we need numbers. Some of our still modest numbers in reais, yet they are not in dollars, unfortunately. But here, let's see. Here, FAPUR was created in 1996, and here is the first closed year, 1997. And here I'm showing to you the annual difference between income and expenses. So here we have the baseline, the 0, and if a mark is above the 0, it means that in that year, the foundation had a superávit. And if it's below, in that year, the foundation had a deficit. Our FAPU oscillates, and here the amplitude is larger. Here in 2015, we had a very good year, it seems, and our group has arrived to the direct board at 2017. And we are trying to recover the finances of the foundation. And we believe that some progress is coming. But this graph should be analyzed together with this following graph. Here is only the total annual income. It's interesting to compare because if here we are something around at most $1 million reais. In 2014, the situation improves, and from 2017, it seems to get still better. And here we are almost reaching the mark of 8 milhões of reais. Okay, just income. When we compare this graph with this preceding one, we see something interesting because here the income of this year and of the preceding year do not correspond to what we see here. Here we have a superávit, here higher than 2014, but here the income of both years are very similar. A possible conclusion is that here we are in fact spending saved money. Because of this, here we are going down so deeply. Here, this graph, the income follows the same tendency of the superávit. And we can breathe. Another important, very important analysis is here with the number of active contracts. Here is 2019, and here is the old years. And it oscillates if we look at this, and we can see that they are growing up, the number of active contracts. It's grown up, in fact, the number. But it's similar to this. And it's strange, no? Let's come back to that graph before to see what we can learn from them. Here is 2019, and here is 2012. This income is 7 times higher than here. What was happening with these contracts? And let's see with the previous one. See, here we have a deficit, and here we have the largest superávit. What we can learn from this comparison is that in this period, the projects and the university were not including in their work plan what we call administrative expenses, not fees. Fees or taxes is a node and a not correct nomination. As we have a private nature, we have to pay people who do the work. We have to pay a lot of publications. We have to pay the rent to the university. We have our debits. And here in this period, we were working for free. And it was very difficult. And it's not good, as we can see here and here, if you adopt this model. So our administrative expenses now are approximately 15% of the whole project. And we are studying in the next year to diminish this value to something around 12%. Here we have the organogram. We have only 4 people in the direct board. And here we have all the departments where your requests are processed. Perhaps an insertion, a comparison in a national context is interesting. And how many support foundations exist in Brazil? There are 102 support foundations in Brazil registered at MEC. There are 98 support foundations affiliated to CONFIS. What's the CONFIS? CONFIS is the Conselho Nacional das Fundações de Apoio às Instituições de Ensino Superior de Pesquisa Científica e Tecnológica. It's a meeting of us, and it's a very important representative board. They group these 98 foundations in 3 types. Here, the type C, and these types follow the accountability criteria. And in the group C, we have Fiotec, Copetec, the largest ones, the largest foundations in Brazil. Fiotec is the foundation of Fiocruz, Manguinhos, and we started here in the A group, and now we have passed to B group last year. It's a good movement, but I still want to check because, of course, once you are in the B group, you have to pay more. But anyway, it's a good news. They're good news for us. And here I cannot finish without show you the people who do the magic. And it's important also to say that we have not stopped during this pandemic period. Once your projects cannot stop, because we are aware of the deadlines of the financial agencies, we have to work on the same rhythm. So we have not stopped. We took all the safety, we are trying to take, in fact, all the safety actions, and we are here. Here are more people. In fact, we are in last February, last birthday before COVID, the complete team. I mean, all of our collaborators with all trainees and our financial director, Sida. And here, the director board. 2 directors, me and our president. It's for me very important to show you who these people are, because by law, we are forbidden to receive any kind of scholarship payment or anything to do this work. So we are here because we believe that this kind of institution is strategic for the growth of our university, but we have to be used by yours. So please show up. We are here to receive you and to explain you how we work and how we together can conduct perhaps better your projects. Thank you for your attention. This is everything that I was able to prepare to show you in the time that was given. Thank you.
Short time. I'm sorry, Professor Clarissa. In fact, we have 3 questions. I'll make 2 questions and then I will let Professor Lucia Anjos talk her question. Okay. So Professor Fabio Scott asked, in the current scenario of few public resources for research and science, the foundations can play for minimizing this situation of few public resources for science?
Yes, this is a very, very good question. Thank you, Fabio. I don't know if perhaps I gave no attention, or at least not as I should do here. We are trying to stimulate that professors practice extension, and it would be very, very, very interesting, not only for financial reasons, but also to show to the society that we know very well what we are doing. And once you practice extension, when you offer a service and charge for this, we connect better the university with the population, with the society. And I believe that this time we would dedicate a part of our time to write projects when we offer services, charge the services at loyal values, of course, to the society. And this would be very, very instructive, not only for us, but for everybody. I don't know if I could answer Fabio.
Yes, you did. He had another interesting question, I think, and then after that, I will let Professor Lucia make her question, and then we have a short break. Fabio asked, what is the role of foundations in the diffusion, spreading technological innovation within federal universities?
Sorry, repeat.
What is the role of foundations, of FAPUR, for example?
I think what's the role of foundations?
Yeah, what's the role of FAPUR in the diffusion, like spreading technological innovation inside the university?
In fact, I believe that we have to strengthen the bonds with the niche. We are trying, but I believe that they are finishing now. The politics, the agents politics, perhaps Professor Lucia can explain better. In order, we know where we can enter into to better assist this diffusion of technology, because needs at first, or the university needs to establish their roles to this. And if I'm not wrong, they are in the middle, perhaps almost at the end of this way. Please correct me, Lucia.
Well, thank you, Patricia, for allowing me to talk to the audience. And I asked it particularly because I want to first thank not only you, because you always complain when I say that, but to all the FAPUR's team for all that you've been doing. I approve of what you said. There is basically not one day without receiving some document from the multiple FINEP projects that now I'm handling. And that happens on the weekends and holidays and whatever days. And I have a fantastic person at the grad office, that's Paulo Souza. And whenever I don't answer, he sends me a WhatsApp. Did you look your email? And things like that. So
it's fantastic.
I certainly know that the group is doing wonders during this time and helping all of us to keep up with all the projects and saving projects that we kind of thought were lost. And that was also something fantastic. So I really want to thank you and your group, or your group in your name, for this. About the agents, originally, as you said, it was just the need. And it was connected to the office of the Dean of Grad and Research. It was moved to another, let's say, position in terms of the administration of Rural. And just recently, in the last meeting of the Upper Council, it was approved the regimento, that means the rules and regulations of the agents. And the agents of innovation is much more now than the need. So the idea is it will be associated, connected to the vice president of Rural. And in that way, it will be possible to join not only activities of the Dean's Office of Research and Grad, but also the extension, also institute, also any other sectors of Rural that could be integrated through the agents. So I think it was a good solution. And I hope that in this way, of course, the grad office will participate in one of the commissions, but I think that in that way, we are going to be able to reach what we could not before. So I see good possibilities in that. But my question was, for the future, this future with this up number that I like very much, many foundations reinvest in the grad programs, for instance, in terms of scholarships. That could be for master, could be for PhD, or could be for a postdoc. So do you think that maybe next year we can start to develop something in that way So it would support some of our programs that do not have enough scholarships, or even programs as the VET that could support postdoc students to keep them at this moment when the market is so bad. So what's your opinion about that?
Very nice, very good question, Lucia. First, I have to perhaps make clear something about our numbers. When I show you almost 8 millions, it means that this amount of money does not belong to FAPU. They belong to the projects we manage. And when you see that the numbers are growing up, it means that we are able to do our work. And people are coming. We are perhaps being more attractive, I don't know, or this crisis perhaps helps also, but we have past debits to pay before offer some kind of scholarships. And the last one that is in my mind is about the rent. We have an old rent that we are trying to show that has already been paid in several different ways. But until we have not these previous debits that I call supposed debits, solved, it would be a tremendous responsibility of the direct board to start spending money, because it would perhaps bring difficulties to our accountability. And it is the first part of this foundation that we had to adjust. And perhaps not this year, but I would like to sit down with a group, I don't know which group, the last of 2021, when I believe that these questions are solved, to talk about this possibility. I'm still here?
Yes.
Okay, you are muted.
Thank you very much, Professor Clarissa. Thank you, Professor Lucia. This discussion is indeed very, very important, not only for our university, but for others. Well, we have a little break now, and then we will come back with a